So, a video that has come out two weeks ago that I've kind of been like on and off about wanting to react to before I eventually decided, you know what, I do want to. Gigguk badly explaining the entire plot of Honkai Star Rail. Pretty sure this is a sponsored video. And as someone who does play Honkai Star Rail and who does pay attention to the lore and try to remember most of it, we are going to be watching the entire thing, whether in one go or two goes, I don't actually know, and judging, assessing, deciding on how well this dear man did with this, what I assume is like a sort of a beginner's guide to the lore of HSR, or whether we're really gonna be putting the bad in badly explaining. We're gonna have to see. So, you know what? Let's just fucking go ahead.
Star Rail is a game from Hoyoverse and is one of their latest attempts.
Let me know if the volume is
fine. For not being able to collect my favorite fictional anime characters. You may know them from the worldwide sensation Genshin Impact on my credit rating, but this is not Genshin Impact 2 or Honkai Impact 4th. This is a completely standalone game about traveling across the universe, saving different worlds.
Or so you say. Because technically, HSR is also in the Honkaiverse and the entirety of the Hoyoverse, but whatever.
It's like Space Canada, Space China, and Space Birmingham, featuring some of the most canonically straight women you can find in gaming.
I've never heard
game, which is a genre of game
Bellablock described as
Space
Canada.
You're most physically attracted to, with an infinitesimally small chance of actually obtaining them. My personal strategy boils down to a simple flowchart, wherein if there is a new character I can respectfully refer to as Mummy, I will violently do everything in my power to try to acquire them, only to get jumped scared at the sight of receiving a child.
You know what? This is where I'm glad that I am mainly a man enjoyer, because I too have this problem, but less. Way less. Because we don't get as many men. Well, not thankfully. Honestly, I do want more men, but also, you know.
Rise, motherfucker. I can assure you that the E5 Clara on my account was achieved totally against my will, and I am not trying to cosplay the
I think my highest is like E2 Yanqing,
what's the real gameplay? That is the real gameplay. And yet Star Rail has tacked on an entire bonus game on top of that, where you can gather a team of people, which in my case, by complete coincidence, all happen to be attractive women.
Yeah, dude, Gigguk's editing is usually like very all over the place.
Each other with increasingly pretty animation, which is commonly referred to in the industry as turn-based combat. Where I get all the turns. As you can see here, my team I've named Weeaboo Mother's Day can do what I thought was a respectable amount of damage to get me through the story missions, and then you log into YouTube and find out there are people hitting enemies with a goddamn phone number.
That's a lot of damage!
Did I mention this video was sponsored by Honkai Star Rail?
There we go.
Because this video is sponsored by Honkai Star Rail. See, over the years, the Star Rail team have given me money to get addicted to their game, that I immediately pay back through in-game currency, thus creating a self-sustaining economy with more stability than the stock market in the past 5 months. But today, Hoyoverse have given me my most challenging task yet. Understanding all of Honkai Star Rail. See, Honkai Star Rail has one of the most expansive stories, featuring intergalactic wars between cosmic gods, the entire plot of Starship Troopers with Kamen Rider, and the Lovecraftian nightmare creatures known as Twitch streamers, that most people don't even know about, because in order to access this information, it requires one feat that most gacha gamers are physically unable to do.
Read.
But as an ex-employee of the BBC with a master's in engineering, Hoyoverse can clearly see that my reading skills are unparalleled. The potentially cutthroat cohabitation
in the beginning.
And following the release of their biggest collaboration ever with Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works that's out right now, I thought I'd take a page out of my Fate days and break down the entire Honkai Star Rail universe for newbies and veterans, because sometimes when you're playing the game and hear a sentence like
Jing Yuan, one of the Arbiter Generals of the Cloud Knights and the Xianzhou Alliance on the Luo Fu, currently looking for
that is a lot of
terms. Medicus who are also trying to revive the Ambrosia.
You might as well be speaking to me in wingdings, but today I'll explain everything like you have the IQ of March 7th, and by the end of this video, you will see that Honkai Star Rail is shockingly uncomplicated. And I can assure you, this is the short version.
Oh, absolutely. It's gonna be the short. This is 47 minutes. You're barely gonna get the basics.
Damn it, it's another job.
Done. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
That's right. Steve Handjobs is back, bitches. Hello guys, it's been a while. Welcome to my second TED Talk where we talk about the Honkai Star Rail universe. Now before we fully dive into the story, there are a few core concepts everyone needs to know so that you can fully understand everything that's going on. Yes, I'm talking to you, dialogue skipper who lets every fight run in autoplay. I've definitely never done that myself. First and foremost, we have paths. But what is a path? I'm walking a path right now. No. In Honkai Star Rail, paths are totally different. See, they are these universal philosophical concepts that anyone can believe in and practice.
Wait, didn't see Sampo or Vel yet because I'm locked in longer. True.
That was a lot of big words for the average gacha player, so let me simplify it down for you. It's how you think, dummy. Let's say a
Pretty
person
much.
believes in
More or less.
preserving and protecting life. Well, they probably believe in the path of preservation. Get that, vegans? Oh, you hate conflict and think everyone should just get along? Well, harmony seems right up your alley. That's
Sort
right.
of, as well.
Paths are to weebs in the Star Rail universe what astrology is to white women. In-game, this translates to different gameplay mechanics. A preservation character, for example, probably means they have a lot of shielding and can tank a lot of damage. Abundance characters, well, there's your healers. And destruction characters, destroy shit, damn.
And then there's the Remembrance, who just does everything. Because that's apparently what they do. That would be the easiest way.
And in universe, anyone who practices a certain belief of any path is called a path strider. They walk that lonely road, the only road that they have ever known.
You know what? Base reference.
I think I just quoted Green Day. And in rare cases, any one being who explores the concepts of their path in its entirety, embodies the beliefs, practices the philosophies as deeply as one can, they can ascend to become an Eon. Eons are essentially these godlike beings that completely embody one singular path.
Yep.
Let's take Nanook, for example. He is the Eon for the path of destruction. What does that mean? He is a hater.
And this is where I at first had planned to watch this video in my own time, and I watched up to this part, and that's where I decided, you know what, I'm gonna turn this into content. Number one, listen, I know that some of the Eons can be a little confusing. Some of them look very humanoid, like Nanook, or Yaosha, or Shipe, and sometimes I too get my pronouns mixed up. That's totally fine, but also, every single time the Eons are mentioned, their pronouns are in caps. All caps. Listen, I know it's technically not a big deal, but like, every time I see people, or I hear people refer to the Eons with like gendered pronouns in a video that they had time to like write and edit and, you know, like double check. Anyway. Second of all, Nanook hater, not quite true. They just think the universe was a mistake and want to destroy it, essentially. That doesn't equate to hate, but, you know, comedy and whatnot, so I guess. And simplicity and whatnot. Whatever.
He is a hater on a level that no other being has ever seen. He hates
Not quite
everyone, everything. His hatred transcends racism, sexism, because he hates everyone equally. His path represents the belief that the creation of the universe was a mistake, so he wants to destroy everything.
There we go, there it is.
Proving that men would rather...
So a hater? I mean, I know it's a badly explained video. That's why I'm here to explain it more correctly. And also, to be fair, he did, like, actually explain what Nanook's deal is now. I can still call out the bullshit. Even if I know it's for comedic effect.
Eradicate all life in the universe.
Wait.
Everything. Once again, proving that men would rather eradicate all life in the universe than go to therapy. Like, damn bro, you good? Can't you just like get a pint?
If he was if they were a man, then yes.
Start a podcast like the rest of us. So my wife has actually just started playing Honkai Star Rail, and I have a quote from her about her interpretation of Nanook.
Oh god.
He's just a little hottie with a body. Yes, okay, maybe he wants to destroy a universe or two, but he's just an edgy little bad boy. Shut the fuck up and look at those pecs. Look at that emo fringe. Let me nuzzle in that yellow chest, Gussie.
You know what? I
Now,
guess?
in the Star Rail universe, there are all these different factions that basically boil down to following one Eon. They see their philosophy and goes, you know what? We can make a religion out of that. Well, why don't they make a path for gooning? I bet I can be a follower for that path. Well, joke's on you, there is a path for that. It's called the Path of Propagation, and here is your Eon.
In a way!
An eon whose sole motivation is to propagate and spread themselves across the universe, which was born out of a feeling of intense loneliness. He started self-replicating so much that he started a disaster that threatened the entire universe. So
To be
much
fair,
so
that kind of
other
checks
eons
out.
needed to step in and be like, bro, can you stop gooning for 5 seconds? Imagine gooning so hard you almost wipe out the entire universe in the process.
It happens.
I wouldn't even be mad, I'd just be impressed. Honestly, knowing the Honkai Star Rail fanbase, that's probably the path they'd follow.
I knew you would come.
Now below the
dear
Eons, you
God.
have the Emanators. Now these are people that have been acknowledged by the Eons themselves and have been given extra powerful abilities from them, which is actually a big fat fucking lie, because most of the Emanators that we've met so far have never even spoken to that bloody Eon. But don't worry about that. Because one thing you
I mean, one of them has. Or tried to? Did her actually speak with News, or was she going to? I forgot.
come to realize is that just because a specific faction follows a specific Eon, that doesn't necessarily mean the Eon actually fucks with them. Like, there are some factions who can be like, we follow the path of destruction, Nanook is our god. And Nanook can be like, who is this man's? What?
God. Remember when these guys existed? Remember when everyone was going ham over these fuckers? That was in like 1.6 or 2.0. That was over a year ago. And they're still gone. They're still gone. I still miss my punk red-haired wife. She's still somewhere in the void. Surely alive. Surely. At 3.8 we get the children for sure. Believe. Surely. Surely. I fear.
Because everyone keeps saying, this is my man's. This isn't my man's. In summary, for all you power scalers out there, you got Eons at the top, then below them you got the Emanators, then below them you got the Path Striders and factions that follow the Eons.
Pretty much.
beliefs. Then you multiply this by 18, because that's how many paths are currently in Honkai Star Rail. And that's where the lore of Honkai Star Rail can be a little daunting, because there are so many characters, so many titles, so many factions. But when you break it all down, it all comes down to which path does a particular character follow. Everyone and every faction has a different drive and goal based on the path they follow. And all of the conflict in Honkai Star Rail revolves around the opposing beliefs that each Path Strider has. Did you get all that?
Daddy!
Good. We can finally start at the beginning of the story. Our story starts at the Herta space station, an amalgamation of a bunch of nerds who have a hard-on for the one and only Herta the goddamn genius. Philosophical hard-on, not an actual hard-on, I assume. Yes, this is one of the smartest individuals in the entire universe. A sassy lost child. Or her puppet. You know what? We'll get back to that. Helping her run the place, you have a girl about as privileged as Sea-Dog VA, with a versifiers, and a dignified woman whose hobbies include theatre, desserts, and breaking the Geneva Convention. At the station, they research all things that piques this little shithead's curiosity, and it's here that we get introduced to the first factions that will play a massive role in the entire narrative. First and foremost, you have the Nameless, which is an interesting name, because constantly in the game, people can be like, hey guys, I'm Himiko, I'm a Nameless, so what's your name? Himiko. Bruh. This faction follows the Eon of Trailblaze, Akavili, which is the path that we follow.
This is what
Akavili
probably looked like. This recreation identifies
Akavili. They're all about traveling the universe, going on a bunch of adventures, making a bunch of friends, the Luffy of the Honkai Star Rail universe. And this is our Going Merry. The, train thing.
And surely our train is going to be around for longer. And is always going to stay intact. Right?
The Astral Express. I knew that. See, unlike other Eons who are too good to hang out with pathetic humans, Akavili was that cool older uncle Eon who'd hang around with the kids and occasionally sneak them beers when nobody's watching. Which, I have no idea about. They were just a chill guy. So chill, in fact, that one day they mysteriously just fucked off. Nobody knows where they went. If they're alive, it was just
and you know what?
An Irish goodbye. Now, at the opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Antimatter Legion. Remember our favorite edgelord Eon Nanook? Well, he was so edgy that he inspired other edgelords who don't want anything other than to see the universe burn. So they just go around
I'm
fucking
getting
up
broken in.
other people's shit in the name of Nanook, being an overall vibe killer, and conveniently show up whenever there's a Stellaron. Wait, what is a Stellaron? Now, come here, a little closer. Listen up, because Stellarons are massively important throughout the entire story of Honkai Star Rail.
They are.
I don't know. Look, all we're told is that they're these weird mysterious
technically we don't
things
really.
that pop up every now and again and bring disaster wherever they appear. Nanook loves them, probably because he has a hard-on for disasters, and his other name is the Cancer of All Worlds. Which leads us right here to our wildcard faction, the Stellaron Hunters. Why are they called the Stellaron Hunters? Because they hunt Stellarons. Innit? Right now we don't exactly know why we're hunting Stellarons, but what we do know is that one of the characters is named Kafka, and it's probably the sole reason you first put money into this game. Don't lie.
Not me, baby. I never put a single cent in this game, but, you know, you never know. If I do, it's not gonna be for Kafka.
To me, I see the date of your transaction history.
Speak for yourself,
What's
buddy.
this? I'm getting word from my producer that we actually have footage of Star Rail fans reacting to Kafka's introduction. Let's have a look.
Scott mention! My boy stays winning! Kind of. Sort of. He is everywhere. We will never be rid of Scott.
Jesus Christ, guys.
I knew you would.
And they actually kick off the events of this game because Herta, the goddamn genius Herta, thought it would be a great idea to leave a Stellaron hanging around somewhere on her station. And the game literally starts by Kafka breaking in and chest-fisting a Stellaron into an artificial body that awakens us, the Trailblazer. Yes, Kafka technically birthed us. That basically means that she is our mummy. Look guys, I don't make the rules, that's just the way it is. I'm just conveying to you the message Hoyoverse clearly wants us all to hear. This is literally the first thing you see when you wake up. And as a newborn, our first words were... This is also where we get to meet the current Astral Express crew, which is the crew that will be staying with us throughout the entire journey. First, we have Zumi's Incarnate, March 7th, who is, not exactly the brightest girl. She's the type of girl
doing her
who tried
best.
to solve the issue of racism by running, but that might be because she was found in this huge block of ice Avatar style and has no memories of the life she lived before. So she decided to name herself after the date they found her.
But Dad, I was born in September. Why am I named?
Shut up, drunk New Year's party January 1st. Then there's Dan Hung, the brooding quiet kid who seems to have a mysterious past. I have another quote from my wife about Dan Hung.
Oh.
I tried zooming in closely, but as you can see, he is not very hung. So that was a fucking lie, but okay. He ain't no bad boy Nanook.
Okay.
Then of course you have the mum and dad of the Astral Express. Welt, who is actually a character for Honkai Impact 3rd, but got lost there and woke up in the wrong game. And of course, this person, which is Himiko, but not this Himiko. This is a totally different Himiko from Honkai Impact 3rd, which is different from this Himiko, who is Himiko from Honkai Gakuen 2. And this is him, Miko from Genshin Impact, no relation.
You know what? Hey, we appreciate that. Our OG Himiko, our gender-bend Himiko, our post-transition Himiko.
And this, of course, is Saber. The only Saber in the Honkai universe.
For now.
So far. A little bit of trivia. One of the Hoyoverse founders, Dewey's favorite character happens to be Misato from Evangelion. And his favorite character from every Honkai game just happens to be Himiko. Alright, so I see what you're putting down. So with the Stellaron stuck in us and no other memory of where we came from, what else is there to do but to join the Astral Express crew? Because if we choose not to, the game ends there. Our first stop is Jirilo 6, a snow world stuck in a permanent ice age.
Oh, I miss Jirilo 6.
Leaving most of its landmass uninhabited.
I cannot wait to go back there and meet Sambo Koski and have Sambo Koski save everything and save the day.
Without the maple syrup. Here you can find legally distinct Joseph Joestar.
Sambo Koski mention! My boy!
Legally distinct Ilya and Bazaka. And of course, Zila and Bronya, who, have a bit of a history. See,
Sponsored video, by the way.
Here, they become really good friends, but not too good of friends, but just friends who bicker and fight sometimes, but they are still friends. good friends. But this is
The best of
other
friends,
incarnations in
as
the
historians
Honkai-verse
might
in
say.
different games, when they are also friends. That kiss. Kissy friends. But here, in Star Rail, they are just friends. Now kiss. They're just friends. The main faction you're going to find
Yeah, obviously.
Drilo 6 are the architects, who are followers of the
Yippee!
Eon of Preservation, Klipoth. And they're all about building walls and getting other planets to pay for it.
You know what? I should
They're
have
led by
respected
the
this joke.
Supreme Guardian Kokolia, who is whoa. Her daughter is actually Bronya, and they lead the
Can I make a hot take? You know, I think Kokolia is pretty. But I don't know, she never did, like, that much for me. Is that just me? Maybe it's just because, like, I feel like her clothes, there's a little too much going on with them. But, I don't know. She's very pretty. Maybe it's also, like, her personality. I mean, to be fair, I love Jade, and I'm not a fan of her personality. Or I love Jade's design. I don't know. Like, she's a beautiful woman, but meh.
Whoa.
I prefer her ex.
Her daughter is actually Bronya, and they lead the last settlement of humanity, Belobog. But Belobog has its own bog, and that's called the Underworld, which is under the world of Belobog, where they stick all the poor and stinky people. I'm guessing it's mostly stinky people. Why? Fucking society, innit? And the Underworld is completely blocked off from the Overworld because society, innit? Life is hard down here. It's dark and dirty, and people have to make ends meet by becoming miners and wandering into the great mines to find valuable resources. Somewhere, a Minecraft YouTuber is getting really excited about the mines, I mean, not the miners. The main enemy types here you can find are vagrants. Vagrants. V-A Grant?
We'll just steal off the miners.
Look, life is hard down there, okay? Who cares if we steal from a miner or two? You guys are murdering us by the millions! So to keep it from becoming a lawless underworld, a group called Wildfire run everything down here.
Oh, the banger in the background.
Man, I don't know what system of government they have for electing leaders down here in Drilo 6, but I think I might be onto something. Things are certainly not optimal for Space Canada, thanks to the Eternal Freeze, but life wasn't always like this. See, 1,000 years before the Eternal Freeze, Drilo 6 was a prosperous place. Intergalactic civilizations start visiting Drilo 6, hoping to get in contact with the natives. The architects set up shop, opened a few Starbucks, and everyone lived in harmony. Until the Stellaron attacked. People started getting shook. Some pieced the fuck out, fearing the calamity it could bring, and this bad bitch named Melissa Rand starts building walls and settlements, because of course the Antimatter Legion show up and are like, guys, come on, let us in. We promise we're not going to destroy anything. Okay, that was a lie. Okay, we're joshing you. We're going to do a little bit of destroying.
A little bit of a little goofs, a little gap.
War, pushing humanity to its brink. And in desperation, Alyssa Rand hits up the Stellaron and is like, hey, Mr. Stellaron, so can you, like, help us get rid of the Antimatter Legion? You can use any means necessary. By any means necessary. Yep. You do realize I'm a Stellaron, right? You know, bringer of calamity, destruction, disaster. What's the worst that could happen? Okay. So the Stellaron decides to turn the thermostat down a bit. The Antimatter Legion go brrr.
White a bit.
It's cold, I'm out of here. Congratulations, Alyssa. You've successfully repelled the Antimatter Legion. Yay! What's the cat? You've wiped out all other life and made this planet totally uninhabitable.
Yay!
And thus begins the Eternal Freeze, until we show up. So what's the storyline of Drilo 6? Bitch be wildin'. We rock up in our space train, knock over some trash cans, kick some Antimatter Legion ass, and we're all like,
get some more trash cans.
We're here to save you from the Stellaron. To which Kokolia replies, oh, you here to save us? Is that what I heard? Go to jail. Because little do we know, the Stellaron has actually been whispering in her ear, being like, psst, hey, wouldn't it be bants if you just, I don't know, destroyed the world and rebuild it anew? Oh my god. I love Code Geass. Boys, what are we saying? She a 10, but she wants to wipe out all life from the planet. So the entire storyline of this arc is just us trying to take down a mom who's gone a bit loop-de-loop. And it all comes
Pretty
down
much.
to one final showdown where everyone teams up.
And listen, like, as good as Belobog was for a beginner act, that was all that happened. And if people to this day think that Belobog was the peak of HSR, then either they stopped playing after the Luofu, or they are very heavily influenced by nostalgia and they've probably forgotten quite a bit. It was good for a beginner arc. Nothing more. You put that shit out after the Luofu, maybe okay. After Penacony, no. After Amphoria's, no. No.
Seamless versus Stellaron, mother versus daughter, where we immediately get stabbed. Well guys, that's it. Game over. Pack it up. It's over.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come.
Absolute banger.
We get that couple of Klipov's aid, get a new preservation form, and beat the fuck out of her with the power of rock music and this giant fucking robot bloody mega fisting her into the ground. God damn, this sequence was awesome. Wait a minute.
This boss fight was
Aw,
fucking
man.
incredible.
Bronya, having killed Kikolia
Wildfire
with
is
her
peak,
own
but
hands, is
it
left in tears. Knowing
you
she
don't
did
like
the
on the topic of Emphoria's sucks and Penacony sucks because it's 80% Yap and then 20% peak. The main thing people remember about Belobog is Wildfire, which was only the boss fight. So shut your fucking mouth. Respectfully.
right thing, but still processing the death of her own mum. Then March 7th comes in like, hey guys, wasn't that so fun? Let's go to the pub and grab a pint. The Celeron is sealed, Bronya becomes Supreme Guardian, the underworld is opened up, no more stinky people, and of course, Zila and Bronya continue being friends. Job done. Now
Friends.
we move on to
I can't take the it's all Yap as a serious criticism anymore. No, for real. Like, actually, no. I already did make a video about this a while back, talking about, you know, storytelling and story presentation and story itself and stuff, and writing and whatnot, and giving my thoughts on that whole topic. But I do want to make a I do want to make a series as I go through the story again on my alt account, where after I finish each planet or each arc, basically, I make a little video, you know, giving my thoughts on the story and what I think of it. I think that'd be fun. Fun fact, Gigguk said on his stream that Hoyoverse themselves asked him to talk about Bronya and Zila being gay and encouraged him to put it in this video. If that is true, based as hell. We love you, Homoverse.
It's China. It's just China in space. Humans, furries, and scalies live in unison on these ships, with each ship housing different races and cultures with names I can barely pronounce. Here you can find people like Space Kongming, Kindergarten Death Battles, Sassy Lost Child version 2, Daniel, the cooler Daniel, and Blade, the embodiment of Black Air Force energy, literally saving up centuries of hatred, going around looking for just one thing. A way to die. And he looks like this. And he calls himself Blade. Bro is canonically hundreds of years old and hasn't mentally matured past the age of 14. Now,
Let
for this
him
story,
be!
we're just
Maybe he didn't
focusing
even
on the
choose his
Luofu.
name.
But it is just one of 6 ships, all together forming the Xianzhou Alliance, which can also be split up into different divisions run by different groups of people that sometimes have guilds within them, causing factions within factions within factions within factions
Yeah.
within factions within... Meaning every
I feel like
character we
explaining that
meet
would be
here
a
has
little too
title
much.
about as long as your average
He
light
absolutely
novel
chose the name.
like they
There.
jack off every time Daenerys Targaryen introduces herself. It would take this entire video length just to break down every faction within this one ship.
It probably would,
So
honestly.
we are going to focus on what is most important for the main conflict, and that revolves around the long life species that you can find on the ship, which are species that can live long lives, as opposed to the short life species, or baby men, which is what I imagine they're called by the long life species. First off, we have Foxians, who are fox-like beings with fox-like characteristics, and on the furry scale, they land about here.
No, they're further on. Like, they're very literally all they have is the tail and ears. Like, they're somewhere up here. They're like they're scratching the surface. Like, come on now.
That's still good, right? I think that's still good. You know what? Let me check with my local furry expert. Yo, D, how does that look?
What the fuck? How would I know? Come on, dude. You know why.
So don't worry, Facial Mage. You guys are still safe. It's not too late yet. Xenozone Zero players, please seek professional help. Then,
I mean, even Pulchra is very harmless. Listen. If that shit already makes you question yourself, like, you're weak. That's just, like, that's weak. Pulchra, a little more leaning towards the furry side, but still very humanoid. The HSR, the Foxians and stuff, like, it's literally just humans with ears and a tail. Like, come on. That's like people who are like, hear me out and put a fucking like conventionally attractive villain woman.
we got the Vidiharas, Vidihara, Vidimen. These are people with dragon-like characteristics who are functionally immortal. But instead of going
Lenny, the main reason people have beef with furries is because they don't understand it and they think it's weird, and if it's weird, then of course it's bad and it deserves to be made fun of because that's how people work. It's also just that, like, people think that, you know, if you're a furry, you're a zoophile. If you're a lolicon, shotacon, you're a pedophile. That kind of stuff. And, people just run with that. Lygus? I mean, I would consider that a hear me out, because that motherfucker is ugly as shit. That is one ugly-ass man if I've ever seen one.
One long lifespan, they go through a cycle of rebirth.
We're gonna talk about
where
Lygus
after a
later when we
certain
get to the
age,
game,
they
because
get
there's some stuff that
reborn while their body
I'll
gets
talk about.
repaired and lose all their memories. In a process the FBI calls Schrodinger's Lolly, where characters can canonically be both 13 and 1300 years old at the same time. And lastly, we got the Xianzhou natives, who bring the main beef to this all-you-can-eat buffet. Many years ago, the Xianzhou Alliance traveled the stars to search for immortality, where they just happened to run into the Aeon of Abundance, Yao Shi. Now Yao Shi, she's a giving Aeon, maybe a bit too giving, but don't worry about this
very
part of the title. She sees everyone turn up asking for immortality, and she's like, you get immortality, and you get immortality, and you get immortality. What's this I'm holding in my hand? It's just, don't worry about it. So she plants this big-ass tree called the Ambrosio Arbor that allows anyone who eats its fruits to become immortal. Yay for trees, guys! We love trees! But unfortunately for the Xianzhou natives, they get so much immortality and live for so long that eventually they fall into madness and the body mutates into this zombie tree-like thing that they call Marastruck. And so once everyone realizes that immortality isn't everything it's cracked up to be, they all start to turn on this all-giving Aeon of Abundance. And it's like, fuck you, fuck everything you stand for, fuck all your followers, and fuck your stupid little arms. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of feel bad for Yao Shi. Like, aside from this, there was also a time when the Foxians were going through a famine on their planet. So in desperation, they ask Yao Shi to give them some food. She plants so much food for them that eventually it spurs a population explosion that kills their ecosystem and destroys their planet. Like, when are people going to learn that her name is the Aeon of Abundance? Not the Aeon of, okay, just tell me when. Yeah, that's good. That's
just
good.
a little bit.
Okay, yeah, you can stop now. That's enough slices. Because in response to the immortality epidemic, everyone on the
yeah, dude, the editing on this video is amazing.
Path to the path. Now, the path of the hunt is similar in the philosophy to the path to destruction, but unlike Nanook, who is like, fuck everyone, the hunt is more like, fuck you, just you. Fuck you in particular. Like, the Aeon of the Hunt, Lan, is the self-proclaimed sworn enemy of abundance and will go around endlessly eradicating any followers of Yao Shi. Bro's got more generational hatred than Dio does for the Joestar lineage.
Hey, speaking of JoJo.
And poor Yao Shi is just in the corner, sitting down, going like...
Poor Yaoi is just in the corner. Won't anyone think of the poor Yaoi?
Does for the Joestar lineage.
Wait, what's the
of Yao Shi?
Any followers of Yaoi? I love that it translates Yaosha to Yaoi.
Bro's got more generational hatred than Dio does for the Joestar lineage, and poor Yao Shi is just in the corner, sitting down, going like, guys, I don't mean to victim blame, but you literally did ask for it. So they commit a bit of casual deforestation, destroying this immortality granting trees because fuck trees, am I right? What the fuck have trees done? Supplying oxygen and immortality to people. Puh, I spit on you. So what's the Laofu storyline? It's this tree and a Stellaron.
What do you call it? Laofu?
Because of course it's a Stellaron. We hear a rumor that there's a Stellaron on board the from
Prediction will come
Kafka.
in.
And you know what happens when Kafka goes fetch? We go. And it seems like someone's gone and fucking done it by planting a Stellaron at the root of this tree, causing it to resurrect along with this deer tree thingy. But who could have done such a thing? Turns out, not everyone agrees that immortality is a bad thing, so they all gather together in secrecy, forming this weird-ass group called the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus, who looked at the way everyone was hating on Yaoshi and was like, I know Yaoshi, yeah, she crazy, man. She fucking sucks. God, I hate her guts. God, that guy know I secretly fuck with this. Little do we know that there's a real mastermind orchestrating
fuck that
everything
deer.
from behind the scenes. That's revealed to us at breakneck speed. Yep, it was a real plot twist.
Sure was. The Laofu was an arc of all time for sure. For sure.
Someone got Thanos snapped out of existence. Alright, I'm gonna go watch some TikTok chiropractor videos now. You'll never be able to guess who it is this time, lads. That's right, the fucking Antimatter Legion are at it again. And this time is one of their head honchos, Fantilia, who is one of Nanook's emanators. And she takes the form of, god damn! Pretty sure Thanos had to clap for this one. Yes.
Maybe another hot take. Fantilia, also not my cup of tea. I don't know. I just don't think I'm into the hot big mommy types, but
This entire thing was just the Antimatter Legion trying to
Laofu was
destroy the
overhated. It wasn't bad, but it had some serious issues.
from within. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't
Yeah,
for
she's
Dan
hot, but
Hung,
not
who is
attractive to
secretly
me.
a
Not on!
dragon person. Because Dan Hung is actually the reincarnation of Dan Fung, the cooler Daniel. Not to be confused with Dan Sung or Dan Dung, who also has a history with Blade, because they used to be really good friends, but not too good of friends. But according to some of the lore you can find in some of the relic sets, they were what you call bosom friends. Hey yo, what? But that's all in the past now, because Blade actually hates Dan Hung, because Dan Hung was previously Dan Fung, and Dan Fung committed a crime which caused Blade to be immortal. So Blade now hates Dan Fung, but he got reincarnated to Dan Hung, so they are no longer bosom friends, they are bosom enemies. Now kiss.
Sponsored video, by the way.
They're just enemies, guys! So we get another team up. Dan Fung returns and parts the fucking waterway, Moses style. We take down the second mummy boss of this game so far, and this boss music is an absolute bop. That's it.
You are fool.
Done. Alright, this video is getting a bit long, so what do we got next? Fuck my life.
Yeah, but brother.
Welcome to Penacony, the land of festivities,
We're getting started.
where the game goes from just taking a few hours to complete all the story missions to a lot more. This world is the legally distinct Disneyland for people who look like this, bringing in the wealthiest and most privileged individuals from all around the universe thanks to its main attraction, the Dreamscape.
Lucky!
Fuck me, is that Tiki Mouse? The Dreamscape is like if Inception
Tiki
and the
Mouse.
Matrix had one big incestuous
Did I just see
baby-
Siobhan? Wait. Did I miss wife? Did I miss wife?
Story missions too. A lot more. This world is the legally distinct Disneyland for people who look like this, bringing in the wealthiest and most privileged individuals from all around the universe thanks to its main attraction, the Dreamscape.
I don't know. I might have. I don't know where she was.
Fuck
Yeah,
me,
all
is that
those jokes
Tiki
have to be
Mouse?
approved.
The Dreamscape is like if Inception and the Matrix had one big incestuous baby. It's a lucid dream world you share with all the other attendees there where anything is possible. Get blackout drunk without having a hangover? Go for it. Oh, that's just fucking Tuesday at Spoons, innit? Gacha! In your gacha game. Because spending your real life money wasn't enough. Not even fall damage can kill you, which would be relevant if Star Rail actually had a jump button. Here we'll run into people like Dr. L plus Ratio.
Woo!
The real gacha man.
Woo!
My little sister. My little sister can't be this cute. And just another totally normal cute anime girl here. Nothing to see here, guys. Just another cute wife out to your collection. And of
God,
course,
I've seen that. I've never seen that anime, but I've seen the scene.
season 20 of my favorite Hoyoverse anime. Can a girl-girl friendship survive? Now, kid. I need an adult. This is also where we get introduced to a plethora of new factions because they've invited everyone under the sun to attend.
Oh, in the frame spasm?
I'm going to try
Possibly.
and keep this as fast as possible. Starting things off with one of the biggest factions in the Honkai Star Rail universe. The IPC. The IPC is like if the IRS, Amazon, and the S&P 500 came together and made one big incestuous baby. And don't ask why I keep saying incestuous baby, it's not that deep. It is the mega corporation of mega corporations,
Really now.
controlling all business transactions from across the universe. Its mere concept is enough to give Jeff Bezos the biggest morning wood of his life. They supposedly follow our old friend Clipoff, the Eon of Preservation, but the IPC
On paper,
believes,
at least.
unlike the architects from Guerrilla 6, that they need one thing and one thing only to help Clipoff meet their goals.
Money.
And they've sent one of their representatives, Adventurine, to try and get
Long
some of those
live
big,
capitalism.
fat Penacony profits, which is on brand because one of his attacks is literally beating the fuck out of you with money. He's not even rich. He's just reckless about spending his money. Honestly, I vibe with that. You have the
I mean, he is still rich. He's still rich because motherfucker just keeps winning.
Galaxy Rangers, which in this case comes in the form of Boot Hill, who is a space cowboy and
I'm not gonna scream. You thought I was gonna scream? I'm not gonna scream. I am perfectly calm.
it's like playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with parental controls on.
Son of a nice lady.
There's Acheron, who pretends to be a Galaxy Ranger, but really, her true identity is the Emanator of Nihility, which makes her pretty damn powerful. Now, Nihility is all about a state of nothingness or non-existence, so I don't know how she got the job, but I assume it went something along the lines of, you got the job. Wait, what? There's Black Swan. Now, her whole thing becomes a lot more relevant in the next world, so we'll come back to her. There's this one girl from a faction called the Masked Fools, who is not too relevant right now, but I just want to mention their Eon, because their entire path philosophy seems to be Lamau.
My
why
liege.
not? Like this one time, made one of their
My chaotic
emanators
little bitch.
a worm. A fucking worm.
Yep.
Like, can you just imagine all the Eons out there vying for power, and Aha's just there in the corner like, he turned into a worm. Funniest shit I've ever seen. The Celeron Hunters are back at it again.
God,
this
I
time
fucking love
sending in
Aha.
Firefly, who has a sad back.
When you think about it, Boot Hill's name should be Boot Hill, not Boot Hill. I mean, a Boot Hill is like an actual. Is like a, what was a Boot Hill? Isn't like a Boot Hill some kind of like a graveyard or a cemetery of some kind, or a grave? I forgot what exactly. This part he got wrong. He said in the stream too.
Who has a sad backstory because she has space cancer or some shit, but most importantly, she takes you on a date. A date. And then she ended up crashing top-up services and
Wasn't the worm? Oh, did he say that the Emanator was turned into a worm? Oh, yeah, it's the other way around.
breaking every revenue record Star Rail had on release. Like, come on, guys! Are we such simple creatures? Are we just that easy to manipulate?
I mean, some of these people definitely are.
And all these different factions gather together on Penacony, because Penacony is run by a group called the Family. That's run by a man named Gopher Wood, who has 2 adopted children
Man, fuck Gopher Wood!
in Sunday and Space Taylor Swift. And their security is run by Gallagher, right?
You also, excuse you, do not tarnish Robin's name with that.
Here, finally, Star Rail adding a proper daddy to their roster.
I'm 13.
Goddamn. My boy's aging at the speed of white. And
I
their
gotta
history
include
ties
that.
right into the founding and main storyline of Penacony, because before Penacony was this luxury vacation spot, it was a barren desert with a rather embarrassing leakage problem, because it was leaking Memoria. What is Memoria? It's memory cum. Alright, if you want a more detailed explanation, Memoria is this substance that serves as a vessel for human memories and consciousness that seems to be some sort of physical manifestation of memories or mental energy that can sometimes group together in high concentration and can have a negative impact if a normal human is exposed to it for too long.
Note how 13 was
It's memory cum.
capitalized? True.
So the IPC sees this and thinks,
13 core flames? It's been here all along. Gallagher is going to be the true 13th Chrysos heir of Emphorius.
Money.
turning
As a
Penacony
follower of
into
the
a prison
Enigmata.
planet where they send all their prisoners to help fix the Memoria leaks. I don't know what I'm doing right now. That was meant to be mining, I think. Yes, everyone thought Penacony was meant to be Vegas, but think about it. Former prison colony.
I have no idea. I don't know movies.
Pokies everywhere you look. This is fucking space Australia. Eventually, the prisoners spend so much time around Memoria that they begin losing their absolute dicks and they start to enter a shared dream world, like the ultimate VR gamers in a shared server. Now, what do all gamers dream of doing together? That's right. Rising up. They rise up against the IPC, take back the planet, and of course this is the perfect time for a Stellaron to come in and be like, why hello there. Allow me to introduce myself. With the planet in utter chaos, this is when Shipe,
Gallagher died? Or so you think.
Harmony descends down and tells them, yes, it is I, the Eon of Harmony. Can you, like, stop being so not harmonious and stuff? Nice rack! So Shipe helps the prisoners integrate into the family. They split up into 7 different factions, which eventually becomes 5, giving them control over Penacony with no more IPC. Yay! We did it, guys!
Yay!
We beat capitalism! And so then the family thinks to themselves, wait guys, hear me out, crazy idea. What if we turn this shared dream world into a commercialized vacation spot where all the rich people spend all their money, and we can even throw this big festival called the Charmony Festival where we only invite the most important people from around the universe to attend. Yay!
Sounds great!
Capitalism! Now let's follow us into Harmony, a path all about getting along well with each other through mutual trust and cooperation. You'd think the family would be just a bunch of chill dudes. Well, that would be the case if the leader wasn't secretly getting his dick wet for another Eon. See, Eons might seem like these immortal, everlasting, godlike beings, but they can actually be slain, and some of them can even be absorbed into other Eons. Which is exactly what happened to Enna, the Eon of Order. Now, Enna is all about controlling the masses through strict oppressive means to maintain order. She is the final form of your Asian mum when you tell her you're getting an art degree. But like every good Minecraft YouTuber, bitch just became irrelevant, and eventually Shipe came along and assimilated Enna inside of her, which is essentially an Aeon getting bored to death. I don't know why I wrote that sentence. But unfortunately for Penacony, this Asian mum is the Eon that the head of the family secretly follows. They don't want the new hotness. They want old and busted. And so the head of the family comes up with this plan to resurrect Enna and leaves it to his adopted son, Sunday, to enact it. Now, Sunday is a man with a strong personal philosophy. He just wants everyone to be happy, even if the happiness comes from sheltering people from the harsh realities of the world by force.
And some people to this day still don't understand that.
And he thinks this way because he saw a bird once. Okay.
The Charmony bird! The Charmony dove! Listen, hey, I've never been too bothered by the Charmony dove, and I will happily take the dove over Lygus' fuck-ass cave.
Well, there we go. All right, I'll leave you for a second. We'll come back to him. He wants to activate the Stellaron, putting Penacony into a permanent dream world where people can't wake up from it. It will be a perfect paradise with no conflict, no pain, no suffering, and no illness, where people are completely unaware that it's a dream. Oh, he's the bad guy, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Free will! People don't get free will. Yay for free will! I'd always choose free will. I say 3 hours into my TikTok scrolling sesh being mindlessly fed videos I didn't choose, finding my life increasingly dictated by algorithms. Yeah. Because if there was one thing Sunday didn't account for, it was us, the Trailblazer. Because we turn up to the final battleground because is he still talking about the bird? Let's give him a minute, I'm sure he's almost finished.
8 hours later.
To fashion a cage for it.
Oh shit.
Okay, genuinely, am I the only one who doesn't remember that scene to be as long? Maybe it's just because I love Sunday and I was already like invested at that point. But I don't know, I didn't I wasn't too bothered by it.
Because we turn up to the final battleground because a little birdie once told, oh, for fuck's sake. And this all culminates in one of the most hype moments of the game so far, where we take on this heavenly mechanical conductor thing while fucking Space Taylor Swift sings in the background and we throw a goddamn train at it. Yes,
hell yeah.
We beat the final boss by driving a fucking train into it. It was fucking beautiful. Look guys, all I'm saying is, I'm not an Idol fan. But in the aftermath, the IPC come back and inquire some
God, I still fucking love that song.
Somehow ends in us getting 5%, which I mean, yay, capitalism! And then Black
Yay!
Swan hitches a ride with the Astro Express along with the newly reformed Sunday as well. All right, Sunday, I know you just tried to take over Penacony, but we're cool with that. We're cool. I can forgive that. Just, if you're gonna be here, can you just not talk about any birds? Is that cool?
It's shaped like a
Are you cool with
bird.
that? All right. Let's fly off to our next destination. This brings
The
us
editing
to
is
our
funny.
final stop so far and Star Rail's most ambitious story yet.
True!
Amphorius. Now, at the time of writing this, Amphorius' arc is not currently finished, so we're not going to get too heavy into spoilers, so I'll just give you a basic overview of what this world is about. Welcome to the world of God of War. In space, a world themed about the Greek mythos that nobody knows anything about. It's so shrouded in mystery that even Akavili did not visit this place when he was trailblazing around the universe. Come on, Akavili, mate, get with it. How the fuck do you miss this place? And the only reason
Well.
we know anything about it is because of Black Swan. Remember when we said we'd come back to her? Well, Black Swan is a member of the Garden of Recollection, and they follow
It's
the
too bad.
Eon Thuli, the Eon of Remembrance. This path is all about preserving memories and keeping records of everything that's happened so no one forgets
Upper.
anything, which is useful for anyone over the age of 30. Because if you've been paying close attention, you may notice that every world's been themed around a certain path. We've gone from preservation to abundance to harmony, and now we are here at Remembrance. We even get our own remembrance powers by adopting this cute little pink feline called Mem, who stays with us on our journey and constantly talks in our ears. And wait a minute.
I knew it. Knew it.
Oh no, this is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. But what is this world all about?
Give us another
Well,
one.
remember at the
Give
start
us
of the
3.
video when I said try not to be intimidated by the amounts of eons out there? Well, apparently that wasn't enough information because Amphorius has its own godlike beings that are not eons or emanators. They're called Titans, and they created the world of Amphorius. And there are 12 of them. Oh God, by the end of this game, I swear, Star Rail's gonna have more mythology than actual mythology. All right, lock in, gang, because I'm
Possibly.
gonna go over this pretty quickly. War and death to the planets.
Perfect.
All right, you get all that?
Yeah, we're good.
No? No one was listening? Well, that's okay, because unless you actually want a deep dive on how each Titan story ties into the world, all you really need to know is that all these Titans came from these things called core flames that was given to Amphorius by an even higher god. Who is this higher god? I don't know. I'll
Nova,
never
thank you
tell.
for the resub.
XOXO, gossip
I think you
girl.
just need to speed up that explanation. You know what? Yeah, I think we just fell asleep because he was talking too slow.
I don't actually know. The most notable Titan you should be aware of, though, is Kefle, the world-bearing Titan, who created the humans of this world and is the site of humanity's last stronghold. Because everything was chill until the Black Tide came along and fucked everything up. Wait, it's the Black Tide this time and not a Stellaron? That can't be right. Stellaron! Stellaron! Where are you? I know you're hiding somewhere here, you son of a bitch. The Black Tide is this mysterious corrupting force that turns
Not
people
so-
into
not-
fucking fent
not as of
tweakers.
now, at
It
least.
destroyed multiple cities and turned several of the Titans mad. And so, to avoid corruption, Kefle just goes, dun 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 dun, fucking blue screens himself, but not before bestowing a prophecy upon humanity. 12 chosen heroes with golden blood will appear, strong enough to defeat the Titans and take their core flames, ascending to become demigods. Only then will humanity come to a new
Damn.
era of prosperity.
That's an old one.
These heroes will be known as the Amphorius 5-star units.
And only
And
5-star
that's the basic
units.
premise of Amphorius. We go around kicking the shit out of the Titans with the Chrysos heirs, jacking their core flames, and letting Hoiver spend their budget on these very beautiful alt animations. You have Tribios, who despite her looks is already a demigod, along with Aglaia, who has the core flame of the Titan of Romance. And all I'm saying is, she can romance me any what? There's Castris, who is
Yeah.
She's okay. Nothing much to say about her story, actually. And of course,
Yeah,
you
she's
have
fine.
Mighty and Phynon, Mighty, who is an Angie boy, who I swear to God is trying to compete with Sung Jin Woo for Aura Farmer of the Year.
Who actually is not very angry, and most of his anger stems from this little fuck. This little bitch boy right here, and he's actually a very kind and gentle soul.
And then you have Finon.
To literally anyone
who's
else.
a good boy. The goodest of boys. And he goes through a lot. Together they make a great team, except they would do if they weren't bitter rivals who compete in absolutely everything they do. But guys, that's actually really early because they actually care about each other and they're just trying to bring out the best in each other because they're the best of friends, but they would never admit that because they're bitter rivals. You know, I would say now kiss, but I'm pretty sure they already kiss each other goodnight. And
Sponsored video, by the way!
that's the setup for Amphorius in a nutshell, which is the bare bones surface level explanation for all the things hiding underneath this world. I will say there have been some developments in the overarching story arc, but what I will say
Especially now.
is that compared to previous arcs, the setup and execution is actually far more straightforward than what we've seen in Star Rail before.
It is! It very much is! Thank you! Thank you, good sir!
Just over halfway through the story arc right now, and I will say, as an aside, it is actually shaping up to be my favorite Star Rail story arc and world so far. I don't need that. And of course, that leads us to the final development in the Honkai Star Rail universe, the fated crossover with Fate Stay Night
There we go.
Unlimited Blade Works. I see what he did there. Woo! We fucking did it, guys! I don't know how, but it actually happened. Now, this storyline isn't like all the previous storylines we covered. This is more of a side story. Think of it as a beach episode with no beach and just a holy grail. We head back to Penacony, where one of the heads of the families, Oti, was messing around, where he just stumbles upon
Apparently the only
a
jokes that
holy
didn't go
grail.
through were most of
But
the
not
fake
just
jokes.
any
Damn.
holy grail. It is a mini holy grail. Bro, I'm lucky enough to find £5 in my pocket, and then there's this guy stumbling upon a bloody holy grail.
Everyone say thank you, Sampo Koski.
And so he decides to host his own mini Holy Grail War. Now, any true Fate fan would know that the Holy Grail War is always held in secret with no way for the public to know. But this one is different. OT holds a public Holy Grail War, and I assume charges people more than your average influencer boxing match to watch the bloodbath unfold.
Oh,
Four
absolutely.
summon famous people from Penacony, where some of them mess up and accidentally summon some familiar faces from a different universe.
OT has managed to
Wait,
dodge
wrong
too many of my
wrong
hands.
universe. As one of the masters,
Honestly,
the
same. Fuck
Trailblazer
OT.
accidentally summons the King of Knights themselves, Saber. Adventurine somehow summons Archer, and of course, Boot Heel gets our favorite son of a nice lady, Lancer, who is alive. And Berserker's master and servant
once.
is OT? He's Berserker's Star Rail's master and servant? But we have Berserker right over there. And that's it. The collaboration is out right now, so whether you're a Fate fan or a Star Rail player or you're both, go get it while you can, gamers. And that completes my very quick rundown of Honkai Star Rail. Look, this game has only been out for about 3 years, and I'm not gonna lie, there is so much lore and so much story to go through that I had to cut a ridiculous amount out of some of these worlds. This all was all meant to just be a very basic introduction into the entire world and story of Star Rail, and even then, it somehow is even longer than my Fate video. So if you want to get the full picture, there are already some very talented content creators covering this topic, or you know what? You can just go play the game yourself, because while this is the short version, I will categorically say this now, that there will never be a long version from me.
Unless.
But who knows what the future holds.
Woof woof indeed.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Once again, thank you very much to Hoyaverse for sponsoring today's video.
That was good.
You can check out the Honkai Star Rail.
All things considered, that was a pretty good like beginner's guide. And honestly, it wasn't that badly explained. You know, like a few things here and there, sure, but all in all, pretty decent, pretty good, I'd say.